if you want to make more money, you want to make big money, you have to start thinking on a bigger scale. And that might sound obvious as I say it, but recognizing your own limiting thinking where you're playing small is one of the most challenging things to do, I think, in the world. I am where I'm at because I've thought big enough, but also I'm not at a higher level because I'm not thinking bigger, period. It's really hard. And so here's a quick example. There was 2 days ago, I was talking to an entrepreneur friend of mine, and he's built a decent business. Inside of 1 year, he's got a $250,000 business, right? That's a pretty good business for 1 year. And he went from, being let go from his job and starting this company, and now he's at a $250,000 in revenue. And he messages me just as a fun thing to do, and he's like, "Hey, I'm doing a points run. Where should I go?" It's like, "Hey, if you could fly anywhere, where would you go on a points run?" Like, "What's a points run?" And he said, I'm qualifying for one of the airlines to get a certain level, a certain tier with them, and I need to get a certain number of points so that I can qualify to get in. And I said, "Oh, I don't know. I pay zero attention to that." If you're thinking about going somewhere, instead of flying, this is how you upgrade. This is how you make more money, right? It's upgrading the thinking. He's trying to solve the problem of, I need to get into the points club so that I can get whatever marginal benefits from being in that club. And I said, you know what you should be thinking of? Instead of flying economy to some city that is however many miles away you need to get your points, what you should be doing is thinking, how do I make it worth my time to fly somewhere where I can afford to fly business class and land a 5-figure deal as a result of being there? He's got a couple clients right now that if he could go and visit them. We were just on a call, and he's talking about how one of his clients is having a hard time figuring out a standard operating procedure of how they should be applying the knowledge he's giving them and train their team on how to do it, right? That was a problem that just came up for them. It's like, we love what you're telling us. We love your offering. We're having a hard time executing it and making it standard procedure. The next call that he's doing with them was going to be to train them on how to do it. Great. Hey, instead of thinking about a points run, how about you go fly there and say, you know what? I'll spend a day with you, sitting down, training you on how to do this. This is a client that is already mid-5-figure client a year for him. That could easily become a low 6-figure client a year for him. So he could more than double the business if they execute on his ideas, right? Because he's not in there doing all the work, but this could more than double his business with this one client with no real extra added cost or expense to him, just pure income at the top. So instead of hopping on a Zoom call with them and training them and going back and forth on email, how about you fly there, spend a day with them, build the relationship even deeper with them because he's never actually met them in person. And that way you take your points run, you still get your points and qualify for whatever discounts you get and benefits. You can fly business class there, have a much better experience, and end up doubling the business with your client and getting an extra 5-6 figures as a result of it. Like, this is the upgrade in the thinking. You want to make bigger money, you have to start thinking about bigger thinking. And I fully acknowledge that I'm not thinking big enough for where I want to go. Every time I think I'm thinking big, I'll watch a Grant Cardone video or I'll watch an Elon Musk video, and Elon Musk is talking about having a backup plan for the planet. That's why we're going to Mars. I watch a Steve Jobs video about taking a dent in the universe, and I realize, oh my gosh, I'm thinking so small. I'm doing nothing. Not in a bad way, in an inspiring, positive way to say, man, you could be doing so much more. Come on, man, let's go. So it's still my biggest problem too. It's the hardest thing to catch because for him and his environment and his friends and how he grew up, a points run is correct thinking. Getting the discount codes is the right thinking. The challenge with that is you're spending time looking for the best deal and looking to save $100 here or a couple $100 there. And you're using your mental energy up on small problems. What my friend is doing is using his mental energy up on trying to save a couple $1,000s when he could be adding 6 figures to his business with the same mental energy. Now, luckily, he brought it up and I was able to call him out on it and suggest a better path forward. If he hadn't, it was a joke, I think, when he sent it. Like, where should I go on a points run? I don't think he expected the answer that I gave him. But I think the only way to get this is to be around the people who can call it out in you. Either physically, I think that's the best. The challenge is it's as you get bigger, as you grow more, there's fewer people who are ahead of you who can push you, right? There's fewer people who can look at what you're doing and say, hey, this is nothing. Play bigger in a loving way, like push you in a loving way. As you climb the ladder, there's fewer and fewer people at the top of the ladder who are ahead of you, right? And so, yes, you want to give back and you want to serve. And as you learn, you reach back and you pull somebody else up to your level, but constantly finding somebody. That's why I love mastermind groups. I love coaching. I love tapping into experts on different topics because they pull me up. Even if I'm an expert at something, I want to talk to my friends who are experts and people who are ahead of me because they push me to be better. And if you don't know those people yet, what are your options? Well, you could join group programs, right? I've got, for example, Movement Makers. I love my Movement Makers program. It's $49 a month. And we meet every 2 weeks and you get to learn from me. And there's other amazing humans who are trying to build up their platforms as well and become thought leaders and experts. But if it's not my program, there's tons of other programs out there. Who do you connect with? Who do you love? Who do you look up to? And you get a little bit of, you may not be able to afford to fly there and meet them, but you can learn from them even in a group setting. If you can't afford that, $49 a month or $97 a month or whatever the programs are is too much for you, then even the free content, even what I'm doing, even these videos here, you get a little bit from some super successful person every time I make a video. If you even just consistently watch those, I've learned a ton from Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Steve Jobs and people who I've never met through my own videos, and they push me and they challenge me. They can't specifically call me out. They can't say, hey, Evan, what you're doing right here, this thing that you're doing, like the points run, is small, right? You shouldn't be doing that. But they can at least give me encouragement and motivation in seeing what they're doing inspires me to want to do something bigger. Again, when I see Elon Musk talking about a backup plan for the planet, it forces a lens of reflection on what am I doing and is it big enough? And am I playing too small a game? And so if you want to make more money and figure out the money game, you have to stop spending your time on smaller problems. And again, it's a super obvious thing to say, but it's so incredibly hard to actually apply it. You could spend your time thinking about big problems, or you could spend your time thinking about small problems. And there was a line in my venture capital days where the smallest deal we would do is 500,000, and the biggest deal we would do is in the 15 million range, raising capital for people. And the senior partners would always say, it takes just as much work to do a $15 million deal as it does to do a 500,000 deal. Same amount of work. If anything, the $15 million deal is easier because the people are more sophisticated. If you think about your clients, the ones who are paying more are often your better clients. The ones who are paying less, the ones who are trying to negotiate a discount on everything, the cheapest clients that you have are probably the ones who take the most time, who cause the most problems, give you the most aggravation. And so even if you can't go all in on it right now, spend a little bit more of your time focused on bigger problems, bigger opportunities. Because what you've got inside you lends itself to something much bigger than what you're doing right now, than what I'm doing right now. And by focusing on playing that bigger game, we have a bigger impact too. If you want another Evan Rant video that just might give you the confidence you need, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. The number one rule for success is you have to love what you do. You have to love the process of the thing that you are doing.